Hey, welcome to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, ArrowFM in the Wire Rapper, and Manawatu People's Radio. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
It is a pay-per-view week, and that means we're going to talk about Fastlane, we're going to talk about Raw, and we're going to talk about Smackdown. Now, in our pay-per-view predictions show for Fastlane, there was a lot of these matches that we didn't talk about because they just got added.
Or got modified from matches that we thought we already knew about.
Yeah, pretty much. There was quite a bit of change to this card in the 4 days leading up to it between when we recorded and when the pay-per-view aired. But we'll start off with the pre-show. Xavier Woods and Big E taking on Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev.
It was a decent match to start off the show with. The bigger news was that Kofi Kingston was called back to the McMahon's office prior to this match for something to do with the WWE Championship match, which we did not know what it would be at the time.
Yeah.
I suspect they were going to make him referee the match.
Okay. Wait, I'm gonna lump all the WWE Championship, all the New Day stuff into this one big discussion at the moment. So obviously the New Day, they defeat Nakamura and Rusev on the pre-show. But Kofi Kingston also got himself a match at Fastlane, and he had to go 2-on-1 against The Bar.
Yeah, and that did not go well.
To be fair, The Bar are tough opponents separately. So putting them together at the exact same time, the odds were not in Kofi Kingston's favor.
Nope, just like they're not in his favor next week, which we'll get to later.
We'll get there. When I said we're lumping all this together, there's a lot to get through. The WWE Championship is quite story-riddled lately. But you talked about matches being modified. Now, we knew it would be Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens, but we got a Mustafa Ali thrown in as a third competitor to the WWE Championship match.
I felt bad for Mustafa Ali. I mean, he got a huge moment, but nobody cared. Because he wasn't who they wanted. It was Rey Mysterio number 30 in the Royal Rumble again. Except I don't think he actually got booed.
He didn't get booed. He just, he wasn't Kofi Kingston.
And he nearly killed himself on a dive out of the ring.
Doesn't everyone? Just everyone.
Yeah, but not everybody nearly spikes their head on the announce table.
You make a good point. Rein it in a little bit. But yeah, so Kofi doesn't get a shot at Fastlane, but Mustafa Ali does get a shot. Kevin Owens gets a shot, and then we're gonna jump our way over to SmackDown, and the New Day, they got themselves a match. Oh, sorry, they decided to rock up and make their presence known during a match. And I'm gonna keep lumping stuff in here. We're gonna go off on a little bit of tangent. The Bar and Shinsuke and Rusev seem to be grouping together as a foursome. We saw them on Fastlane do a bit of a bad deal, and then over on SmackDown they're teaming up against Hardy Boys and Black and Ricochet. Is this a thing that's gonna lead off into the future, or do you think this is a couple of one-offs?
I think this is a temporary thing for now. It's kind of like the roadblock in front of Kofi Kingston. Mm-hmm. It's possible they could spin it off into another attempt at the League of Nations type of deal.
Yeah, League of Nations. That's where I'm heading.
That's entirely possible. I doubt it, but it's possible. But yeah, I think it's just one giant obstacle for Kofi Kingston to overcome.
Okay. For the record, I'm on Team League of Nations 2.0 here. But yeah, it's probably just the big brick wall, I think is the main part. But also on SmackDown, getting lumped together, Daniel Bryan and Rowan were able to defeat Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali in a tag match. Pretty much it. Rowan's getting in the ring a little bit.
Yeah, he's wrestling a little bit. And there seems to not be the threat of them bringing back Harper anytime soon, because Well, he's wrestled a Raw show.
Yeah, he's
at least
sort
the
of
house
floating.
show, or against Mojo Rawley. So I'm thinking that they're actually going to separate them.
What? I'll never commit to separating those two.
Yeah, just they about as good of odds of doing that as they do of separating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which they could be doing. We don't know just yet. Sami ain't back. But in the final segment of Smackdown, Kofi Kingston confronts Vince McMahon. I deserve it. Give me my WWE Championship opportunity.
And what he gets instead is he's getting another gauntlet match next week, in which he has to beat pretty much every top face on the top heel in the roster at the moment, minus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. If facing Randy Orton wasn't hard enough, then immediately face Samoa Joe, and then immediately face Cesaro, and immediately face Sheamus, and then if you make it through all of them, go up against Rowan, where I'm sure Daniel Bryan won't be too far away.
And how do we know that... I think they specifically said the bar, so how do we know that part of the gauntlet isn't going to be a handicap match?
You make a good point. Fastlane did set a precedent. All we know is that this ain't gonna be easy for Kofi Kingston to get his championship opportunity at WrestleMania.
But boy, will it be a moment on next week's SmackDown when he overcomes all the odds somehow.
It's gonna be pretty much the entire show, isn't it? Like, this gauntlet match is gonna be pretty long.
Probably going to be at least an hour again. They'll probably... So yeah, it probably will be most of the show. It won't be the entire show.
Okay. Who's to say that list of people ain't gonna increase?
Yeah, that's true. Especially since the ladies don't really matter that much on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And so you could just put Kofi in a match with 20 people and fill up the 2 hours, and that would somehow work out.
To me, the biggest omissions are probably Shinsuke and Rusev, given their tangles with the New Day. So I could potentially see them maybe officially entering the gauntlet match, maybe just affecting parts of the gauntlet match. We'll have to wait and see. I liked the callback, because this is pretty much the Daniel Bryan storyline now, but he's flipped. He's on the other side of it now.
Yeah, but there are elements here that are much different than that original storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the fact that Kofi Kingston pretty much went there with the you've never wanted a person like me to even have a chance at the championship.
Mm-hmm.
And that was definitely a reference and a half.
You'd have to be pretty blind to not see that one, I'm gonna say. But yeah, I'm quite fond of this, and I think the Kofi Kingston-Daniel Bryan match is going to be a hell of a match at WrestleMania. Because I have no doubts it's going to happen. Well, 10 minutes later, we've finished with one storyline this week, but to be fair, it's arguably one of the biggest storylines this week. Here's looking forward to where that leads. Now, I'm going to pick another storyline, and we're going to follow it through the whole week. The Usos successfully retaining against Miz and McMahon.
Well, that wasn't really a surprise.
No. Pretty sure we both picked it.
Yeah. I was more surprised that the Usos won the titles in the first place than them retaining here. Yeah, this was all about the Miz and Shane McMahon. I was utterly shocked when it was Shane that turned.
Yeah, it was, like, you look at the two options and you're like, clearly the Miz, you know, he's done damn good heel work, and then you look at Shane McMahon, you're like, okay, yeah, he's the boss's son, he's had quite a few babyface pops, you know, he comes out with his family at WrestleMania, and you could see the obvious way, and then WWE decided to just flip it and say, no, we're not going the obvious way, we're going to go down this route instead.
I think the reason why they pulled it the way they did was solely because of where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Because being in Cleveland, Miz would not have been booed.
Yeah.
If he attacked Shane.
Yeah.
But Shane sure as heck did when he attacked Miz.
And another contributing factor is we want to see more Miz Dad. Who's playing a pretty integral part of the storyline.
He seems to care more than he did the last time Miz was face.
But then we're jumping over to Smackdown, and Shane McMahon, he tries to explain himself, but in the end we get our WrestleMania match that we pretty much expected a little while ago.
How dare you try to mooch off of me? Everybody's tried to mooch off of me all my life because I'm the boss's son. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that was the gist of the promo.
I can't lie. Yes, that was the gist of the promo. And it was just pretty much setting up McMahon versus Miz, and already this year, WrestleMania is stacked. So I'm interested to see what McMahon and Miz pull off. Looking at Fastlane, what feud am I going to pick next? Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte Flair via disqualification and earns her way back into the WrestleMania 35 match.
I figured you'd go with this one last because this is another big grandiose storyline.
Nah, we're putting this in.
Yeah, it's not often you see a heel use the intentional DQ.
It's a tactic. As you say, it's not employed often, but it is something that's in the arsenal.
But yeah, it was a decent match. It wasn't anything special, but it wasn't going to be.
Mm-hmm.
With Becky having to sell that she was, with how badly injured she is, quotation marks.
Yeah, the whole point of this match was just to get Becky back at WrestleMania.
And we get the triple threat match that we all knew was going to happen, but the internet didn't want to happen.
Yeah. Again, you speaking the true. This is exactly what's happening. Ronda versus Charlotte versus Becky, and probably gonna go on last at WrestleMania 35.
Unpopular opinion. Charlotte deserves just as much as Becky to be in the first female main event of WrestleMania.
You're booming, you're mic dropping. We're moving on with your unpopular opinion.
Unpopular fact, neither of them could do it without Ronda Rousey.
Ooh, that one. That's the true again. You're annoying people with the truth. But yeah, at this point, I'm about 90% sure this match is going to go on last. There's a 10%
I'm 100%.
chance. Nah, there's some
100%.
screwiness.
This match is going last. It's going to be the main event. There's no other place on the card for it to go.
Just so much more certain than me. I can't commit to anything 100%. You gotta have in that little iota where it could just switch.
The only match that could overtake it would be Kofi versus Daniel Bryan. It's not as big of a match.
True.
As great as the storyline has been, it's not as important of a match as the triple threat is.
True. Can I squish another feud in before the song? I'm gonna do it. It's something that didn't happen on Fastlane. It was Raw. We got our Batista Triple H WrestleMania match. Again, that we all expected.
Give me what I want!
Batista created many memes that night.
Yes. The internet is undefeated, my friend.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a decent match. I'm not expecting anything grandiose, but it should be decent. So, and out of all the celebrities that could be pulled in, there are definitely much worse that could.
Yeah, but Batista's like a celebrity and a wrestler, so it's quite a good combo. If we were
like he clapped back at Stephen Amell.
Yeah,
is a 6-time former world champion, and I could break you in half. So yeah,
for reference here, Armel was clearly being sarcastic, right?
Yeah, he was joking about himself. The whole comments about that were made about whenever he was involved in a match.
But yeah, it'll be good. The no holds barred stipulation, when you got a couple old guys, it helps to have more than a 10 count. Let's be honest. It might take them like 20 seconds to get their breath and stand back up. Enough dissing old guys that could absolutely snap me in half. And let's instead play an entrance theme. You've selected Triple H's The Game theme. And you're back with a Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady. The other voice you're going to hear is Josh. And we gotta still finish off our Fastlane, Raw, and Smackdown stuff, because we still have so much to get through in the next 10 minutes. Kurt Angle, he's got his quote-unquote final match on Raw, and he defeated Apollo Crews.
I don't know if that was his final match on Raw, but that was his final match at home.
Sorry, yeah.
But yeah, it was a good match. Apollo Crews took good care of Kurt. Now we get to speculate on who Kurt will wrestle for his final match in the WWE.
The options are plentiful. The fantasy booking has run wild.
Yeah, we've got Angle versus Cena. We have Angle versus Balor, which I think are the two ones that I probably would want the most.
Okay.
I think Cena probably would be best out of those two, simply because I think Cena could take better care of Kurt than... And I love Finn to death, but he's reckless at times. And so I would rather have somebody who would be more safer with Kurt in the ring with him.
To me, the John Cena leaning is much more storyline purposes, the debut of John Cena and how Kurt Angle and him have been tied together, and I feel like it would just wrap everything else neatly in a bow for Kurt Angle's retirement match to be up against John Cena.
Yeah, the only issue with that one might be a certain United States champion that's floating around.
Who holds that belt at the moment? Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I hear the man could kill people.
And he successfully defended his title at Fastlane. Thank you for the segue here. Defeating Andrade, R-Truth, and Rey Mysterio.
In a pretty good match.
Can't fault it. The four of them did well. As you say, whether Joe Cena is going to be the thing that goes forward. Sadly, I don't see a whole hell of a lot coming out for R-Truth from this. But I still see Andrade Rey Mysterio being probably on the pre-show of WrestleMania 35.
It's possible.
Or just biff him in the Battle Royal.
Yeah. There is... Carmella is doing a petition thing. So it's always possible that they may go ahead and go with Cena and Angle and have R-Truth end up with that, because Samoa Joe did sign it.
We'll have to wait and see what the future is for the United States Championship. It's fairly up in the air at the moment. Both the mid-card titles arguably are up in the air at the moment, because over on Raw, Finn Balor lost his title.
Which led to the speculation about Finn's match. Which I've heard two different rumors. One of which I don't want to see. One of which I'd be alright with. Okay. We already talked about the one I'd be alright with.
Yeah, that'll be the Angle one, yeah. So what's the one you don't want to see?
I have heard Taker.
Okay.
I don't want to see that.
I thought you were honestly going to say wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I believe over the 5 years that the show's been going on, I have well expressed my opinions about seeing The Undertaker wrestle. And my ambitions and willingness to never see it again. So if it is what you're choosing to go with WWE, so be it. And I'll watch it, but only because I'm watching WrestleMania anyway. Now there's so many more options. Where am I going to go? We're running out of time. We got stuff to mention. The Shield, they won their match over on Fastlane, as you would expect.
No heel turns, no backstabbing, nothing. Just a clean win.
And then on Raw, they're trying to do their little farewell-y thing, and all of a sudden, Mr. Shelton Benjamin Gold Standard pops out.
Yeah, that was random.
Here's this one photo of Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin together. Now go fight for my client against Seth Rollins. And lose, because you're not Seth Rollins.
Actually, it was a little more in depth than that, because Shelton was actually one of the coaches for Brock when Brock was in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And was actually, and I think was also a roommate. So it was a little more than that, than just, here's a random picture.
Potato. But basically it led to our Seth Rollins Shelton Benjamin match, and along with that, with the Shield, they also had the final match of the night with Drew McIntyre taking out Dean Ambrose in a no DQ, no count out, Falls Count Anywhere match.
That was a really good match. Not as good as Banks and Devlin, but still pretty good.
You just had to slip it in there, right? Go watch NXT UK this week.
Last week.
This week, last week. Potato again. But Drew McIntyre, my boy, picking up the win, pretty much solidifying Drew versus Reigns.
Yeah, because he took Reigns out before he could have his first singles match back.
It's the obvious way, and sadly, my Drew might not win that.
No, but that was something I did mention that was going to happen.
Yep, but only like 95% of what you mention actually happens. This could have been one of that 5%. And I could have been perfectly happy with that. Alexa Bliss, she's the host of WrestleMania 35. Who'd have seen that coming?
AKA, you're still not cleared to wrestle.
Pretty damn much.
But we still want you on WrestleMania.
They recognize her star power, but as you say, not cleared to wrestle the match.
And it also looks like there will not be a women's battle royal this year.
Okay, and we'll see. Because
I have a feeling there's not going to be enough bodies for it.
They'll always find enough bodies. But I guess what you're saying here is that the Women's Tag Team Championship's going to be a little bit busy, because after the Boss and Hug Connection successfully defended it against Nia Jax and Tamina. Talk about that match.
Yeah, and then we got a segment between Beth Phoenix and Natalya and Nia Jax and Tamina, which I think will also tie into the tag team titles. And we'll also bring back the legends we've been expecting, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting a Fatal 4-Way.
Okay.
Which also means cancels any potential for the titles being defended on TakeOver.
Yeah. To me, I'd honestly be a little bit happier with the... I've gone back to find what their name was called, because I completely forgot. I believe... their tag team name was the Divas of Doom. I would be much happier, honestly, with that team being the returning legends than Lita and Trish again. Nothing against them, but I was quite happy with Beth and Natalya when they first teamed together, according to Wikipedia, in 2011 and 2012. So seeing that again, I'd be quite happy with it.
Even if it sacrifices the Sky Pirates.
Oh, I didn't say they can't also defend it on NXT, okay?
I just did say they couldn't defend it on TakeOver.
No, they can do both. Double duty.
That would mean that the Sky Pirates have no chance of winning the match.
Oh yeah, they had no chance anyway. So yeah, let's see what happens with Natalya and Phoenix heading forward. We're reaching the end of the show. Have I missed any major feuds? The Smackdown Women's title, there's not a whole lot happening with it. We can talk about that next week. The Raw Tag Team Championship, the Revival retained, and they're still getting paired up against a whole bunch of teams. Could see a multi-man match come out of that.
I'm hoping for Heavy Machinery.
Bada bing, bada boom. Biff their minute. Book it that way. Up to you, WWE. Anything else I forgot to mention? Quickly remind me of before we run out of time.
I can't think of anything at the moment.
Easy peasy. It's been great talking to you.
Hey.
You visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll see you all next week.